What up, what's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new season of The Golden Bachelorette on ABC. Now, this season they didn't premiere it on a Thursday; they actually premiered on a Wednesday night. So I'm gonna have to get used to it being on Wednesday nights. But this is The Golden Bachelorette. This is season number 1, episode number 1, and this season we are our Golden Bachelorette is Joan from the first season of The Golden Bachelor. Now you guys remember Joan. Joan is the one that left the process early last season to and go home and be with her daughter, right? And so they decided to bring Joan back. If you guys remember, watch last season, you guys know that I actually did want Joan to be the Golden Bachelorette. So I'm actually happy that they have, brought Joan back as the Golden Bachelorette. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you guys watch this episode, let me know what your thoughts and opinions were. And we'll go ahead and get into it, you guys. So with this first episode, I don't expect for this to be a lengthy review because for me, not a whole lot happened. We were introduced to the men and Joan. We were introduced to the men that Joan are going to be choosing from. And we just saw them arrive in the limos or however they decide to come, which some of them were very creative. Some of them were very creative. So I will say, for me, it was what I didn't realize was that it was a 2-hour episode. That was what threw me. I was like, oh my god, this is a 2-hour program. Like, wow. So I was gonna do it yesterday, but I never got the chance to get to it. But we're here today. And again, like I said, if you guys are watching in the live chat, please let me know what you guys' thoughts and opinions were on the first episode. And we'll go ahead and discuss it, you guys. So we're going to start up with the men that showed up. Oh, gosh. So, yeah, let's go in order of my notes. So the first man that we were introduced to, let's see, who was the first guy? Pascal. Now, I will say I do like Pascal, and I like he's from Chicago. And Pascal, where's Pascal? Now, I should have worn my glasses because I can't see a dang thing on this computer screen. Let's see, where is my boy Pascal? Hold on, you guys. Here he is. So this is Pascal. So Pascal is, like I said, he's from Paris, but he moved to the U.S. for work, and he stayed here since. So, like I said, he's from Paris, France. He is a father. He has a son. He's 69 years old, but he currently lives in Chicago. Pascal is a hairstylist, right? I like Pascal. I think Pascal is going to go pretty far with this process. Let me know what you got. If you guys watch the episode, please drop down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Let me know what you guys thought about the men. All of the men, I think, are they're good looking men. I don't have anybody that I would say, oh my God, this is my guy right now. I don't have that. But if you guys do, feel free to let me know in the comments and in the live chat as well what you guys think, right? So after Pascal, the next guy we have on my list that we met is Kim. Now, is this Kim? Yep. There's Kim. So Kim is 69 years old as well. So we found out that Kim, he was divorced in 1998, right? But he remarried, and he was married to his wife Mary for 8.5 years before she passed away. And that is one thing that I'm gonna say with the Golden Bachelorette. It's like, my God, I'm an emotional person, and hear some of these stories. It's just like, oh, they just tug at your heartstrings, right? They really tug at your heartstrings, and I'd be a ball of mess with listening to them. I was a ball of mess listening to Joan talk about, her husband. I was a ball of emotions listening to Chalk. I mean, not Chalk, but Kim. I was just a ball of emotions, you guys. But yeah. So after that, we met. Who was the next person we met? So the next guy we met is Chalk. So where is my boy Chalk at? So here's Chalk. So Chalk is 60 years old. So Chalk, I like how he arrived. Chalk arrived and he had some homemade chicken noodle soup, right? From Joan to try. And I was wondering where he got that spoon. I was just when I saw him with that spoon, I was just like, Chalk, where'd you get this spoon from? Where did you get the spoon? That was the only thing that I was struggling with, is where Chalk got that spoon from. Chalk is a handsome guy. I like Chalk. So after Chalk, we have Jonathan. Now I'm trying to remember, who is Jonathan. I think I know who Jonathan is. And I have a lot of questions when it comes to Jonathan. And here's Jonathan. So Jonathan is he's 61 years old, handsome guy. So Jonathan is divorced, right? And I think Jonathan is the one that said he got divorced. One of them was surprised by their divorce, and I think it might have been Jonathan. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know in the comment section. I think it's Jonathan that was surprised by his divorce. Jonathan also has kids, right? And when they showed the picture of Jonathan's kids, I was like, oh, Jonathan has young kids. I want, because most of the men have grown adult kids, but because Jonathan said he's co-parenting, I was like, that's going to be interesting. I don't know, I wonder how Joan's gonna feel about that when she finds out that, because I mean, these people are up in age. They're not young adults like myself, right? So Joan has grown kids and she has a grandchild. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out between Joan and Jonathan, because I do believe she likes Jonathan. That's gonna be interesting to see. But you guys definitely tell me what you guys think, what you guys feel down in the comments below, you guys. And that's it. Like I said, when Jonathan, I think he's gonna be an interesting one. Definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least. But so after that, who was the next guy that we got? So the next guy on the list is Jordan. Now I have to remember who is Jordan, and I can't really, like I said, on this screen, I can't see these names that well. So I'm gonna have to go back to my phone, because I have all the guys on my phone, and I'm just gonna have to look at them. And when we get to a specific guy, I have something to talk about with him, because there's a scandal already with this show, and it just aired this week. But there's already a scandal with the Golden Bachelorette. And like I said, once I get to this particular person, which I don't remember if we met him in this episode, like with the first impressions, I don't necessarily know if we met him like that. But let me find Jordan. Oh, that's Jordan. So next up is Jordan, you guys. So Jordan is 61 years old. So after Jordan, because we're just seeing him as they get out the limo, right? So after Jordan, we met Michael, who is 65. So again, bear with me, because I haven't really memorized these. I know some of these men, but I don't know everybody right off the top of the dome. So this is Michael. I do like Michael, right? Mike, I think I like Michael. So after Michael, we met Thomas, and then here's Thomas, you guys, handsome guy. So after Thomas, we met Gary. Now, when they kept saying Gary, I was like, Gary, like last season's Golden Bachelor Gary. Oh, you guys, we haven't talked about that we haven't saw each other since the season finale of the Golden Bachelor, and I have not talked about Gary Turner and who did he pick? They got married after the new year, and then a few months later, they were getting divorced. It was very much because I'm not someone who watches The Bachelor like religiously, but I do know that the success rate for The Bachelor is not that great, just from what I know. And it was a shock to find out that they had divorced, right? But next up is Gary. So this is Gary. Now I will say I do like Gary. I think Gary is he was goofy and he was laughing. So I do like Gary. Let me know what you guys thought about Gary down in the comments. But Gary, like I said, Gary is 65 years old. And then after Gary, we got Greg. So Greg is 64. And then after Greg, we had Pablo. I know who Pablo is, and I saw him just a few minutes ago. Here's my boy Pablo. So Pablo is 63, and then we got Bob. Now, I'm gonna say something about Bob that I had to catch myself with in the episode because I looked at Bob and I was like, is this Bob Saget? But then I had to remember Bob Saget is deceased because this man kind of puts you in the mind of Bob Saget just a teensy bit. He puts me in the mind of Bob Saget. So then after Bob, we have Jack, you guys. So, like I said, bear with me looking at my notes on here and looking at my computer, my phone to remember all the men because it's 24 men, you guys. So be patient with me. We got 24 men to get through. Next up is Jack. Jack is how old is Jack? Jack is 68 years old. What I will say is I do like Jack. I think Jack is going to be the comedic relief for this cast. That's the vibe that I get from him. One thing he was doing, he was laughing a lot, he was cussing a lot, right? And I definitely get that from Jack that he's going to be the comedic relief. So after Jack, we met Charles. When it comes to Charles, you guys, I just I like Charles, but I don't know if Charles is going to last that long. But this is Charles. Charles is 66 years old, right? Here's another scene where I am in my feelings because of an emotional story. So Charles, like I said, 66 years old. He has daughters. He has daughters, and then so he was married to his wife for 36 years, I believe he said. And his wife also passed away. I was like, oh my God. Like, that is the only thing when it comes to like Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette is that most of these people have been married to their partners for years, and unfortunately, their partners pass away. It's beautiful to see a love story that lasted as long as it did. It's beautiful to see that, right? But at the same time, oh, it just like I said, it tugs at your heartstrings because that is definitely something that I would love to have is a long lasting 36-year relationship. But hey, I like Charles. I do. I really do. So we'll see how long Charles lasts, right? So after Charles, we get Guy. I do not remember who Guy is to save my life. Guy. Guy. There's somebody named Guy on here? I ain't trying to be shady, but I don't remember him. And that's the other thing. Some of these people we like saw them in passing and we didn't really get anything from them. Guy is the doctor. I know who Guy is the doctor. I like Guy. He's an ER physician. That is what I remembered about Guy. He's an ER physician. I think I can't remember if he has any kids, but I believe he does. So yeah, that is Guy. Did I say how old Guy is? If I didn't, Guy is 66 years old. Looks good for 66. That's one thing I will say. All these men, they look amazing for their ages, right? Even Joan, even what I will say with Joan in her dress when she met the men for the first time, Joan looked phenomenal. My God, Joan looked great. So obviously we have two Charleses. So we have Charles L and Charles King, the Black Charles, very handsome guy, beautiful smile. Charles is 62 years old as well. He's 62, very handsome man. Wow, good looking. Can't get past that. So then after that we met Ken, and I just saw Ken. Ken is at the bottom of the list, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, give me just a second, you guys. Like I said, going back and forth with these notes with and these pictures, because 24 men. Ken. I don't remember much about Ken, but let me see if I can find his picture because I know I added it. I'm positive I added Ken's picture. That's not Ken. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna find him. I should have worn my glasses. Maybe it didn't add Ken. See, this is why I can't stand StreamYard at times because it don't do what you ask it to do when you need it to do it. Because I absolutely have his picture, it's just not pulling up on this damn screen. It didn't pull up, so give me just a second, you guys. I'm adding it. So here's Ken. So Ken is, let's see how old Ken is. Ken is 60 years old. Again, all these men look amazing, and they're all 60 plus. I don't think there's anybody that's that, there's only one guy that's under 50, and we'll talk about him as we get to him as well. So next up after Ken, we have Dan, and I don't remember who Dan is. Dan. I don't know why they needed 24 men, but they got 24 men and they confused the bejesus out of me. Dan. Okay. So I know who Dan is now, and we'll get Dan pulled up on the screen for you guys to see who Dan is. Did he come over? You guys also may hear a plane fly over. So this is Dan. So Dan is how old? 64 years old. So then after Dan, we had Christopher, and then I have to again bear with me, you guys. First episode. Oh, Christopher's the other black man that we have. So we have quite a few black men, and again, all the men very good looking, right? So this is Christopher. Christopher is 64 years old. So after Christopher, we have RJ, and then RJ, RJ. Okay, I know who RJ is. So RJ is at the bottom as well. This is RJ, you guys. So RJ is 66 years old. So after RJ, we have David, and David is 68 years old. And like I said again, all the men look really good. I don't know who David is. David is his last name is Huff. This is our boy David. So here's David, and then after David, I have Keith, who is 62. This is a struggle. I apologize, you guys. I definitely do apologize. Keith. There's Keith. So this is Keith. And then after Keith, I have Mark. So Mark is 57. And a little bit about Mark is when I get him pulled up on the screen, I'm wondering if this is going to be a trend with The Bachelor as well, with the Golden Bachelor and the Bachelor, Golden Bachelorette, because they did this last season as well, and they're doing it again this season. Mark. And here's Mark. So Mark is 57, like I said. Mark is also the father of the fiance of the Bachelor. What's his name? The one that came after Gary's season. I can't think of what his name is, but his fiance. That's his. This is his fiance's, Kelsey's father. And I was like, okay. I know that they did that with the guy from the Bachelor previously. His mom was on last season of the Golden Bachelor, so I'm like, is this going to be a trend for you guys to do it? I'm like, okay, if it is, right? So then the last guy that I have on the list is none other than Gil. Now, this is the person that there is a scandal surrounding, you guys. And let me go and get that pulled up for you guys because it's a doozy when it comes to him. Because what they've done is they have edited him. I think they're editing him out of some scenes because of something that I just literally read before I came onto this screen. So let me find the article, you guys, and we will definitely get into it. So, Golden Bachelorette. Okay, getting it pulled up. Golden Bachelorette, Gil. All right, so this comes to us from People Magazine. It says a source tells people that so the Golden Bachelorette ran a clear background check on contestant Gil Ramirez before ex's temporary restraining order. It says the source tells people that this filing occurred in the brief period between completion of our thorough background investigation and the beginning of production. So the Golden Bachelorette contestant Gil Ramirez's past has been revealed. People has obtained documents alleging Ramirez has a past of stalking with an ex-girlfriend filing a temporary restraining order against him just 3 months ago, according to a court filing dated June 11th, which a source close to the show says was just days before production began. A woman who claimed to have been dating Ramirez was granted a temporary restraining order citing harassment, emotional. So it says, despite telling him to not contact me, to not contact me, come to my house, he made repeated unwanted contact with me, family members, and friends. She claimed in the request for a domestic violence restraining order, although she clarified she had not been physically injured by Ramirez, 25 attempts daily via phone, text, video. Although he lives, she says, it says he lives an hour away, showed up at places I frequent to confront me on a daily basis. The woman noted at the time that the alleged harassment had been going on for a 2 week period thus far. She requested Ramirez not to contact her and stay away from her home, her workplace, her vehicle, and her children's school. A judge granted the temporary restraining order that same day and set a hearing for July 1st, not July 1st, July 2nd. On July 2nd, the hearing was postponed as the order was unable to be served to Ramirez because of this. Documentation from the court shows the hearing was set to take place on July 24th, and a temporary restraining order was continued. By the next hearing date, court minutes showed that the woman was sworn and testified, and the case is dismissed without prejudice for lack of prosecution for a lack of service. The temporary restraining order was also dropped. It says a source close to the Golden Bachelorette tells people that this filing occurred in the brief period between completion of our thorough background investigation and exhaustive vetting process and the beginning of production. The insider added that due to the information coming out, the show has further edited his already limited screen time and minimized him in promotional assets moving forward. Ramirez appeared on night one of Joan Vasso's season of The Golden Bachelorette, which aired on Wednesday, April 18th. According to his profile, he is a 60-year-old, in quotation marks, educator from Mission Viejo, California. It says he received a rose at the end of the episode and will be continuing to the next week of the show. Well, that was a spoiler for you if you didn't need a spoiler. But yeah, that's Gil. Very interesting what I just read. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, you guys, and we will just go ahead. And like I said, this ain't gonna be long. I've introduced the men. Like I said before, I don't have any standout favorites right now. We just met the guys this week, so we'll see as Joan starts to go on the dates with the men. Now we did see as she, interacted with the men. I saw that she liked some men. I could, um, she gave out her first impression rose, and her first impression rose, it went to Keith, you guys, which I was kind of shocked about, but I was like, okay, Joan. So I've already spent almost 30 minutes talking, just introducing them into you guys. So, like I said, we're not going to spend too much time on the introduction. You know how they came in. I thought some of them came in pretty cool. One guy came in on a horse, and no horse ran away. One guy came in a Winnebago. Well, look like Winnebago. One guy came on a motorcycle. One of the men used a cane, pretending like he couldn't walk, but did push-ups. Yeah, very interesting, you guys. I'm gonna stick with the Golden Bachelorette, like I did the Golden Bachelor last season, and we will talk about it each and every week. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to figure out this schedule because with it airing on Wednesdays with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, it's gonna be a doozy, but I'm gonna get it done nonetheless, right? So, like I said, there was a 2-hour episode. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it was really wasn't a whole lot to it. We just were introduced to the men. They were making their first impressions to Joan, and that was really all we got. So I'll get down to the get down and just tell you guys, who is sticking around and who is leaving, right? So we already talked about the first impression rose. It went to Keith. So the rose ceremony, it went in order like this. So Jonathan got the first rose, followed by Mark, then Guy, then Charles K, Gil, Gary, Pascal, Chalk, Kim, Christopher, and Greg. So when she got down to like the last few roses that she had, much like what Gary did last season, Joan had to take a little bit of a break because it became a little bit too emotional for her. So she took a break, but she came back and she handed out the last four roses. And the last four roses went to Charles L, Jordan, Bob, and Michael. And then the last rose, it went to Jack. And like I said, with Jack, I think Jack is going to be the comedic relief of this cast. I already got that vibe from him, right? So in the end, Joan said goodbye to Ken, Pablo, and RJ. And ultimately, that was the end of the first episode, you guys. I'm sorry that it took me. When it comes to this is a show that I forget that, I wasn't thinking like, damn, I have to remember all these men. But now that we're down to, we down to what, 22 men now? No, 24. So we've lost 3. So we're what, at 21 men. So yeah, we'll see you guys. But again, apologies for not having all the men together on the screen, but we'll be better next week. Next week we'll go a little bit more in detail when we get to the dates and stuff, and then we'll just have our regular live. But this one was just, I want to introduce the guys to you guys, let you guys know who got the first impression roles, let you guys know who's still around and who was ultimately eliminated. Be sure, you guys, to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, like the video, and I will see you guys in the next video, you guys. So next up, at some point today, we will go live to discuss OC, and then I will upload my video for Reasonable Doubt. But until then, you guys be blessed, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys for something else. Bye, guys.